This week in what else I've just discovered is broken in the SLK. Can't do much with that, can I?
No! It's not changing gear!
Well, hey guys, it's Joel and welcome back to my very cheap Mercedes SLK 320. And if you missed it, you may not have seen that a few weeks back for my winter and Christmas special on the channel, I bought three cars. A Mercedes SLK 320 from 2003, which we're in right now, a Mazda MX-5 and a Saab 9 all budget convertible cars that I paid less than £1,500 for. Now the Mazda MX-5, Ben, who was on the Christmas special, he loved it so much that he decided to keep it. The Saab 9 well actually I've kept that and I've been using it as a bit of a runaround because it's so reliable and it's so fun to drive. And then there's this, the SLK, which as you might be able to hear, well, it's broken. Yes, you see, when I bought this car for £1,200, it was actually running really well. It was perfect and absolutely spot on for what I needed for the challenge. I also really like these cars. I've always wanted to own one, and it does feel super, super lovely in here for the most part. However, Bailey, who was driving this car for the Christmas special, like the rest of us, got a little bit overexcited and had a slight collision with the back of Ben's MX-5. And ever since that point, it was, well, giving up some weird issues. It first developed an ABS and BAS ESP light, and then when I drove the car later on in part 2, I got an engine light when I gave it some power. And as a symptom of all of those problems, the gearbox has now given in. So this SLK now doesn't shift gear. It either goes into first or second and then stays there. Me manipulating the gear lever to change gears manually does nothing, and essentially we're just stuck in second gear today. That's all it will give me. However, I have been doing a little bit of research and I think potentially the issue could be something quite simple, something which potentially I could fix with one single, well, less than 20 quid part. So let's limp it home now and find out if that's the case, because if it is the case and I can fix this right now, well then I've got myself a really nice SLK, because otherwise this thing is in really fine fettle, only on 82,000 miles as well. So it's an absolutely lovely car, and that engine is a peach and it's perfect too. If this doesn't work, then, well, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this car, because I can't really do much with an SLK that doesn't go into gear. So the trusty old internet seems to inform me that the combination of issues I'm having with this SLK could be something as simple as just the ABS sensors or the wheel speed sensors. I haven't just left it at that though, because I have actually checked on a little fancy diagnostics machine I've got, and it seems to come up with rear ABS sensors. So I have gone online onto the internet and purchased myself a couple of these at approximately £17 each. So today I'm going to have a go at replacing rear left and rear right, that's what the car seems to think it needs, and resetting it all and seeing if that removes the warning lights and sorts the gearbox out. Right, so I've got this fancy little diagnostics thing that comes with its own OBD reader, and if I just plug it in there, I'll show you what it was telling me. I did get sent this by this company, Think Car. There was no obligation for me to film anything with this actually, they just said you're welcome to have one, but I genuinely found it quite impressive, so I thought I would incorporate it into this video. It's quite pricey, but it's really, really nice. It's basically an iPad, but just for diagnostics. So I have found it pretty impressive, and I'll leave a link to this machine in the description if you want to have a look at it yourself. Okay, so I've got the car read now. I've read all of the systems, and as we can see, first one, transmission control module, says the right rear wheel RPM signal sent from the traction system via the CAN bus is implausible. Same for the left. ESM electronic selector module, which I think is also the gearbox, traction system wheel RPM error. Then we've got the engine control module, which just says rough road detection signal, vehicle speed signal, left rear wheel faulty message, left rear speed sensor loose contact, right rear speed sensor loose contact, something for the yaw rate sensor, which I don't have, but basically everything there links to some sort of wheel RPM or sensor issue. So that's my thought process. Obviously I've tried this, but I'll just clear all the DTCs anyway, but what tends to happen is the ABS and BAS ESP lights come back on with the transmission fault. Engine light goes off actually. That's why I bought these ABS sensors. Hopefully we can yank the old ones off, put the new ones on. Sounds easy enough, and then maybe it will fix it. Who knows? So the first thing to do then was to get the car up in the air, not forgetting to loosen the wheel nuts beforehand. The amount of times I've forgotten to do this, well, I've lost count. I dug out my trolley jacks and axle stands from the shed, raised up the car and lowered it onto the axle stands. I took the wheel off and then later remembered to pop it under the sills as an extra redundancy just in case something fails. But now the fun begins. Where are these wheel speed sensors and how do I remove them? So here we go, wheel off. So I think this little guy here, this one, going up to there, I think that is our ABS sensor or our wheel speed sensor. Looks to be the case. So it looks like we've just got one little Torx bolt here and then it comes away. And then up here, I'm not quite sure how that connection works, but let's have a little look in here at our part anyway and see if we can spot any similarities. Right, so what have we got? So that looks like the bit, yes, like the bit that goes up there, doesn't it? I think it does. And then there's this bit which goes down here. Okay, so this is really easy. This top one just literally pops out like so, and then obviously we'll disconnect here and put the new one in, and then down here for the bit that connects to the hub itself, we've just got this bit to undo, which I think looks like T10 or something. So I'll go grab that now, and then hopefully this whole thing comes out. We put the new one in. Right, so I've acquired my limited tool selection from the shed. And let's see if we can find something suitable. I've got a little ratchet there. What are we thinking? We're thinking it's a T20 at least, maybe a T30. Not sure I can tell whether it's even a Torx or not. Can't do much with that, can I? Blowtorch. Okay, well it looks like I found something that does go in, so I'm just gonna, and it's not tight at all, is it? Just needed that one little thing to crack it. So I'm gonna pull this out. Oh, yes! I did it. Come on, baby. Make sure I keep that safe, and then this whole old thing should come out, I guess. Yeah! So what I'm going to do now is unclip this part, okay, and then pull the old one out. I actually did it. Now let's try and get the new one on, eh? So these two parts match, okay? I'm going to actually start by going back in where we just came out. So I'm going to do it in complete reverse order. But I'm just going to make sure that's threaded through that way. So I'm going to put this bit in first, whilst I still remember where it goes. Give it a good old shove. Now what I'm going to do is clip in the new one. In a moment, I'm just going to thread it back up here, plug it in. Yes. So now I shall thread you back in there, good sir. Off you go to your new home. You're plugged in. That's all good. Goodbye. Okay, so let me just show you. So new one is secured down here. It's quite tricky to get the camera to it. There you go. And I've managed to put it back in up there. You see this sort of plasticky bit, and then it's clipped back in here and also just here. As that was relatively easy, I think whilst I'm at it, I'm going to do the other side now as well. Then we'll put the car back down, read the codes, clear the codes, drive the car. How does that sound? So I have to say that wasn't too bad. Apart from the approximately 45 minutes of me swearing looking for the right tools, that rear left wheel speed sensor came off and went back on without much of a hitch. It turned out to be just a 10mm Allen key to undo that bolt, and not a Torx like I had originally suspected. Nonetheless, it's pretty much just rinse and repeat on the right hand side. This one also came out with ease and also went back on with ease. And now it's time to jump in the Mercedes and see if this has actually fixed it. Okay, so the car is lowered back down onto its own wheels, and so Now really is the moment of truth then. I'm going to get my fancy code reader back out, plug it back in, and yeah, I'm really hoping this has worked. If not, it's been fun. I think I have successfully changed the wheel speed sensors, and then, you know, if like I need a yaw control unit or whatever it was called, perhaps I'd be confident enough to change that as well. I'm struggling to find the OBD port. Hang on a second. Let's get the key in the ignition then. Let's put the window up and we'll turn this device back on. Well, yeah, like I say, I would be dead chuffed if this has worked, but I guess a little bit disappointed if it hasn't, but also not gutted. It's so cold. Hopefully it does work, and then we can switch the car on, take it for a drive and get the heating going. Okay, so let's do enter auto search. It should find the car again. Right, so we'll take a few minutes to read all of these again, and then hopefully it's about to happen, isn't it? But it should read transmission control module and have nothing, or maybe, yes, look, TCM no fault code, ESM no fault code. No way. Has this actually worked? So a couple of hours ago when I read the codes, TCM, ESM both came up with 2 fault codes, which we read through. They were the wheel RPM detection things. So I'm not going to jinx it. ECM, no fault code. We do have ESP fault codes 3, BAS fault codes 1, but notice how the engine, the ESM and the TCM, and bear in mind the transmission's definitely the main issue, they've gone. ESP, BAS, that's this BAS ESP light you can see there. That and the ABS have been illuminated. So if that, maybe that's a different wheel speed sensor, I don't know. Let's just, I can't believe it. I swear to God, if this has worked, I will be shocked. Absolutely shocked. I'm just going to start the car. Listen, if it goes into gear and then changes gears, no matter what sort of warning lights we've got, I'm going to be so happy. But I'm expecting it not to. So let's just see. Let's just start the car. Let's find out. All right, here we go, ladies and gents. Let's put the lights on. Let's start the car. Okay, no engine light. I don't know if you can see that, but there is no engine light. We still have ABS, BAS, ESP. The gearbox is the main thing, guys. I'm just going to put my seat belt on and have a little run around and see what happens, eh? We will know pretty much instantaneously because we go into drive. I really want this to work because it is a really lovely thing to drive. Not that I've really had a chance to experience it that much. Is it going to change gear? No! It's not changing gear! Oh, I'm gutted. Oh, wait, did it just change? Hang on. That was a gear change, was it not? That was a gear change. It's changing gear. It's changing gear. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Here we go, look. Watch the rev counter. It's changing gear. Have I actually just fixed it? I've just fixed it. I can't believe it. I have just fixed this. No way. It's bloody changing gear. Whatever. Well, would you bloody believe that? I certainly don't. Well, look, there's only one thing for it. Let's get the roof down. Or not. It's flashing at me. Why? This week in what else I've just discovered is broken in the SLK. Well, that was an absolute mega fail. I guess we're not going for a drive with the roof down, but we can go for a drive nonetheless and finally enjoy this car. I drove it once on that trip, the winter special trip, and I've not driven it since. I've basically never driven this car. Now, I'm not too worried about the roof because I did put the roof down the other day on my driveway in my carport and it was fine. I think maybe just there I was doing something wrong. I think that's probably the most likely cause. I don't think that's broken as well. But yeah, let's just see what this thing can do. We can drop it down now. Oh yeah, that all works. And this V6 engine, I can finally experience it. Oh wow, it's fast actually. And it sounds really good. And also this SLK rides really well. Compared to my Saab, it's a lot more compliant. It's quite impressive actually. But yes, the sun is setting. But I honestly, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I've fixed the gearbox. To many of you watching who may be a lot more handy than I am, which wouldn't be hard, you might be thinking, well, what's all the triumph about? But for me, that is a real triumph because I'm, yeah, like I said, not a mechanic, not trained in any way, and not particularly confident when it comes to working on cars. And I did something there and achieved something that I didn't think I would be able to do. So I'm dead happy about it. And if you're watching and enjoying, then do make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know that you enjoy these types of videos as well. So now that the gearbox is sorted on this, well, I can actually drive it. So yeah, maybe some more SLK content coming soon. If you'd like to see that, do let me know. I will be selling the SLK. I had to move the MX-5 on. I will have to move the Saab on, and I will need to move this on. I bought the Range Rover lately. I've got the Maserati 4200, which I'm going to go down and see very soon. That needs a new oil pump. So at the moment, I'm actually spoiled for choice in terms of cars. But before I do sell this, well, we'll see. I might fall in love with it because I do really like driving it. I've not really had a chance yet. So anyway, comment below what you'd like to see. In terms of the ABS and BAS ESP light, well, once the sun rises again and I have a bit of time, I will plug back into my machine and just have another look and see what it thinks. Maybe it's that yaw rate sensor, I don't know, but I'll do a little bit more troubleshooting and research and see if that's something I can get sorted as well. But let's just quickly enjoy this SLK. I love this little hill climb here. Let's use the manual shifter. So I'm going to lock it into second. Has that worked? Definitely. Wow, it's quick. I mean, that's all the way up to 60 pretty much in second gear. And that took 5-6 seconds. It's really quite jolly fast, this thing. I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? It's a 3.2 V6, 200 and something horsepower, maybe 240. And well, it's bolted to this very small car. I mean, that's the thing that surprises me with this SLK, is just how tiny it is. It's a really diddy little thing, this Mercedes. So wow, it's really fast. It sounds really good. I love the dials and I love the view over the bonnet, and I love this interior. It's just, yes, it's just really quirky, and it's just very me actually. Yes, I like my SLK. And so in answer to the video's question, can a £15 part fix my SLK? Well, the answer is, amazingly, yes. If you've enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching, by the way, but do leave it a thumbs up, like I say, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because if you don't subscribe to the channel, you literally won't see any of the videos with the SLK again. YouTube just isn't recommending like it used to. So do make sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I thank you ever so much for watching. Until then, I'll see you in the next one very, very soon.